you don't want someone who's calm, relaxed, and like has their shit together. You want someone who's going to fire off with the littlest things to start that controversy.
Ivan, who I feel was a very beloved figure from Tayshia's season, maybe regretting the Paradise journey, because sometimes when you get that quote unquote good edit, it's a risk if you're going to go on another one of these shows, because you don't know. Yeah. Versus if you get a quote unquote bad edit, you usually could get a redemption. So it's a risk. Yeah. Ivan took the risk. Let's talk about his feud with Aaron first and the Chelsea of it all. My biggest takeaway was that they were both rose hunting and that no one actually cared about Chelsea. And where were they hiding Chelsea during the fight?
I hear you 100%. I definitely think Ivan got caught up in a little bit of lies here and there, but like, Sarah, there's so much that goes in this show, and everyone's like mental capacity when you're on it, I feel like you could just read into what was going on with Aaron and Ivan. Like, they both didn't want to go home. They both wanted a rose, and they were going to finagle their way in any sense to try to get that rose. But honestly, you can't necessarily blame them. I think that every single contestant that is on that beach kind of has that same mentality. Yeah. So it just gets like funny, because once you know that, it's like you're reading into it and you're like, this is kind of bogus. Like, okay, yeah, Ivan didn't want to go home and he started lying about stuff. Well, guess what? Aaron didn't want to go home either, and that's why he's getting upset. But I don't really think it was about Chelsea, and poor Chelsea sitting there being like, these guys are fighting over me, but I don't even know if they like me.
And she wasn't even there. Like, were they keep her somewhere in an interview to let this all play out? Because if she was definitely the only person not there watching it all happen.
Yeah, to be honest, they probably pulled her to do like an interview. Yeah. So then when she came back, it was, hey, what went on? And people told her. So that's my assumption, is they probably pulled her for an interview so she wasn't around when it was happening. I don't know, but yeah, that's most likely the case.
That was what I was thinking too. And I also just think, well, one with Aaron, he's been on the show all season somehow, and it's such a hothead. Like, he jumps to these crazy conclusions. Like, Ivan has no morals. Like, he just gets so extreme. Thomas is my mortal enemy. Like, relax, first of all, dude. Like, it's just not that serious. But like, then he does the same thing. He gets so mad, and he claimed like he had some interest in Chelsea, but he gets hung up on the wrong stuff. Like, he was more upset, and it was bad. Obviously, Ivan was totally lying about why he wanted to talk to Chelsea, and he got caught. And that was like amazing when they rolled the tape, because I feel like they don't usually do that. Like, it was like a breaking of the fourth wall. Like, let's watch it back. They should do that more. But I just can't with Aaron. He is just, we'll get to Tia later, but he just is so hypocritical, in my opinion.
I think one, it almost looks like he might have a short temper going on. Mm-hmm. And I think he also probably wears his heart on his sleeve. And I feel like he could just like hit that spark, which honestly is the best person for a Paradise situation. Mm-hmm. You don't want someone who's calm, relaxed, and like has their shit together. You want someone who's going to fire off with the littlest things to start that controversy. So I think that Aaron is the perfect person for what production wants, for what TV wants. Like, he's starting everything, you know. Yeah. How he feels, I'm not actually sure.
No idea.
But he is the perfect person for reality TV, I would say.
And Ivan also, it's interesting because he definitely was quote unquote rose hunting to a degree, but he also, I struggle with him a little bit because he was like needed the guys to have his back. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it all turned into the Chelsea of it all was certainly lost on, you know, who wanted Chelsea. And I always feel bad when that happens because you go back to, it's kind of bogus, like the concept. And I just think they need to tweak the quote unquote rules of the game here in Paradise, because on like a show like Love Island or a different reality show like this, if there's like money involved or there's more scheming like implied, on this show they try to pretend that it's about love only. And there needs to be a way to like, I'm like making up rules here. They should have like a rose that they can like call a safety card and get to stay for a week if they don't get a rose to see who comes down, instead of using someone else. Or if we're gonna use people, then make that more socially acceptable, because I agree we shouldn't use Chelsea here, but like, are they wrong? Like, that's how you play the game, right?
Yeah, but I think that's, I think it's kind of like known, and it's unfortunate, but that's just how this show unfortunately goes, is like, but it's so funny because there's so much I can't even say this word, hypocrisy, that it's like this person gets so upset for using this person, but that person, like, everyone is using each other.
Right.
And I remember talking to Kelsey when she went on, she was telling me, she's like, Kelley, day one I got there, like everyone was just like panned off making out with each other. And she was like, I'm not gonna make out with someone that I don't have feelings for yet, or like don't really know. But I think a lot of the contestants know the game that they're playing as well. So when you see that of like someone getting so upset, it's like, you guys are all doing it.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I feel like we pick and choose based on who's like well liked, I guess, on who gets defended, which makes it like kind of high schooly. And even
but also you have to understand that that's where the drama comes from. So it's like, if you took that element out of the show, then like where's the drama going to spark from? Because it's like the majority of it, 90% of the drama is someone getting upset because they got used. And it's like,
yeah,
so how else are you going to start controversy, especially if you're a producer, if that element is taken away?
Yeah, you feel bad for whoever's being used, but I guess sometimes you turn around and you could use someone the next week. So it's the rose hunting of it all, as they're calling it. It's kind of, it's just hypocritical, because they all are.
Yeah.
But then this Ivan controversy obviously goes the next step when we find out during that brief lockdown, they were in hotel rooms, they had roommates. Noah was Ivan's roommate, and he somehow got a hold of a producer's phone, and he somehow found Alexa, I believe her name is, who was on your season, right?
Yeah.
Somehow
She's
found
from Chicago.
Yes. Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Did you know her?
Yeah.
No?
No, I didn't know her from Chicago. I knew her after the show. I've like hung out with her maybe once or twice, but don't know her too well.
Justice for her, because her name is getting attention. Hopefully she got some sort of payment, because she stirred the pot in a way that she didn't even get to be on the show. But they somehow met up at this hotel. And sat him down, like, you know, the principal or the guidance counselor, and scolded him. And I feel so many different ways about this. What was your initial reaction?
So I actually know Ivan well, and I know Noah well. I started crying laughing when Noah was like, I went to bed, and I was like,
Noah, what do you know?
But like, hey, I applaud him for not ratting out in any ways, but I was dying laughing. And again, with Ivan, it's like, I know Ivan well. I was texting both of them last night, giving them both shit. I was like, guys, what are you doing? But with Ivan, it's almost like you can't blame him, and I'll tell you why. Because those producers are so strict with their phones. They don't let you just play with their phones. They don't just happen to leave a phone around. Like, I personally think, whether it was a mistake or not, I personally think that it was almost planted there, especially because he did say that the first thing when he saw the phone was just all the room. So it's like, if it was like a phone and it had like text messages on it, or like the home screen or something, like, okay, one thing. But when you look at the phone and it's blatantly everyone's room, like, you gotta think that that was planted a little bit. So hey, genius on their idea. It works, clearly.
Go for it.
If that was intentional, you know, it worked. If not, then who knows?